boy Blast, and I am back with another episode. And let me tell y'all, I'm so happy to have these guests here because I didn't even think they was gonna say yes to me. And then my pops comes here and he tries to outshine both his sons. Ain't that something? I'm underdressed. I was like, oh man, I kind of knew in the back of my head that you was gonna get fly, and I was like, I should have known. I should have known.
You got those that want to go to the barbershop, man.
All the time. All the time. You know, like, people don't know, but like, there was years that, like, when we had to get dressed up, me and you, we shopped in Dad's closet. Like, that was just a thing. He got like 300 ties.
I hear the stories out here, but back in the day when he was coaching down the casket with the long socks, and it was like, man, your dad was always cool, man. He was always fly.
Fresh.
You have to dress to impress.
And even when you was teaching, because for those that don't know, my pops taught for 35 years.
35 and a half years, yes.
And you have students, ex-students, that could be our fathers now.
Yes. Yes.
Because I've definitely had old heads come up to me like, your dad was my favorite teacher. I'm like, my dad taught you? You look older than my dad. It's so crazy. Like, growing up on Hillside, like, at that time, all the neighborhood kids was your ex-students. So, like, Brand was a little younger at that time, but it was kind of like, that was your other kids. Like, they would come and tell me how much they loved you, and I'm like, that's my dad.
Right. They were my kids.
How'd you even, like, is teaching something that you always wanted to do?
No, of course I want to be a pro athlete like everyone else.
They don't know you was nice, right?
Right, but so when I didn't get size or anything like that, I decided what would I do next.
But you did go play football in college.
I played 2 years at Milwaukee, yes.
And you was all right?
I was all right. I saw there wasn't really any future in that. So then I decided to stop playing that and look for the future.
And the future became, when you came to college, was that, did you major in elementary ed from the rip?
No, I majored in sociology.
What kind of job was you going to get?
That's what I found out. My first year when they said you had to take cultural anthropology, psychology, biology, I said, well, maybe I would have to change my major.
And when you switched the major, you found out it was something you liked because they did like the student teaching and all that stuff.
Well, before that, I went to elementary education. And then I found out I would be working with kids and all that and I'd be at schools. And once I started getting into the courses, I ended up really liking it. And I said, hey, this might be all right.
So you liked kids from the door, like when you did student teaching, you knew like, okay, I can do this.
Yes, I enjoyed kids. Kids are funny because they will say and do anything. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it.
Now, Brad, you a teacher? Like, is that something that you think the same thing? Like, because I know, like me, because I did. We both went to college. I didn't finish, but I started out. I had a double major. I did communications in broadcasting and theater because that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. But I did elementary education because I was like, that's what Pops do, and he had a great career. Like, but I hated it. So what did you think?
Well, my first major was journalism. So I thought because I wrote for the school paper in high school. So I got to college and thought it was going to be sweet. And then it was like, you got to write, 10,000 word this. And then it was
oh no,
speaking class. Back then, I didn't want to give speeches in front of no classroom.
Right.
So I wanted my advisor was like, what is the easiest way out of here? He said, sports studies. So what is that?
Yo, every athlete takes sports studies.
So what kind of job can I get with that?
Exactly.
He said, it don't matter what your degree is. Somebody will hire you for something. I said, okay. I graduated with sports studies.
Oh yeah, you did. Because you had to go back and get your certification there. I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Go back and get my teacher cert.
Yeah, so that wasn't your love from the rip neither.
Nah. I mean, I was trying to make it to the pros like he was.
I think that was the plan for all. I didn't have a backup plan. I want to be real clear. Like I was so nice. I forget. Some of y'all might not know. I was nice, and I was in my head. Me and my quarterback at the time. Shout out to Mikhail. We was going to the league. There was no backup plan.
No other option. The first day I got to Penn State, I was running. We had to do sprint or something. So I'm sprinting as fast as I can. I look next to me. There's a DN. I was like, this ain't gonna work, man. Maybe I can coach.
Yo, you get to college and it's such a rude awakening because it don't like when you the man in high school and you get a scholarship to a college, you don't realize everybody that got a scholarship was nice in high school. So it's the college is basically like the teenage all-star teams. Like,
Even when I went to Millersville back in the day, I went over with my varsity jacket on, all my accolades on my jacket and everything. I was so sharp. Everyone there had jackets like that.
Everybody had the varsity.
Everyone had them.
I remember, like, I came into because I didn't get that realization till the first practice where they let us actually start getting it in. So it was like the first practice, the summer practice. We did all the tedious stuff they do, and then we went one-on-one with the D-backs. I'm like, I'm about to shine. Because they was. I guess the coaches was hyping me before I got there. So the upperclassmen was already, when I came in there, they was already looking at me like, oh, this the guy, this him. So I didn't know. I came in, the D-backs already had a chip on their shoulder because this coach been bragging about, yo, this kid at McCaskey, he about to come in here and kill y'all. Man, I got in there and these dudes, I was so, because let me be clear, in high school, as soon as I got off that line, you were nowhere near me. In college, first, getting off the line is hard. When they jam you up here, because these dudes was lifting weights every day. I wasn't doing it. They don't, and then the speed, it was different. They was stride for stride with me. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Different world.
And it's funny because he had the same coach I had in college.
Yeah. Yep.
Coach Carpenter, the same coach.
Last time the middle was good.
Yes.
I really wish, like, when I first quit football, I didn't miss it. But, like, I definitely was, like, 29, 30, and, like, I started having dreams about football. And I was like, wow, I done missed my boat. Like, it's over. Like, once I'm 29, 30, it's over. Like, dude just retired from the league at 29, 30.
You might want to go do one of those semi-protein.
I was so tight. I started thinking about the semi-pro teams, and I'm looking about looking at what they paying, and I remember playing tackle football as an adult, like pickup games, and I remember dudes getting their arms broken.
And then you gotta go to work the next day.
Yeah,
you gotta go to work with your arms broken.
It's like when I got out of Millersville, I went and played for a semi-pro team in York.
The Makai,
right? No, that's flag football team there. I went for a semi-pro team. I think with the Red Lion team, and we were playing some team, and I came off the line, and the guy hit me so hard, I said, it's over. I wasn't that serious. It was over for me. I was done. I said, I never played organized football again.
I think every adult man has that come to Jesus moment where you know it's over. Like, I cannot do what I used to do no more.
Nope. No, but you're like the last one to see that too.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else sees like you're fat, out of shape, like you ain't what you used to be. But you still out there thinking you can do the moves you can used to do.
Because in your head,
all in your mind.
Nah, you're the last one to know too. It's terrible.
I remember I went to this is not even football related. I was going to LA Fitness, and I used to go in there and hoop. And then there was like a time it was a gap, like a 1.5, 2 year gap, and I went back to the gym and tried to hoop. And I got on the court, and them young boys was giving me work. Like, when I tell you, man, they was giving me. And then it wasn't even the fact that it was like in my head during the game, I knew they was giving me work, but it was when I lost and didn't get picked back up.
Oh,
But I was like, oh, I'm washed. That was the last time I ever played ball ever.
y'all put your book bag back on, pack your bag up, walk off. That's the worst.
Yo, and it was like 2 games. Like, Yo, there was only like 7 people in the gym. Like, yo, y'all skipping over me for people that just got off the court.
Nah,
It's over.
yeah, you gotta let it go. Let it go.
So, all right. So we talked about college. Let's start a little bit back before college. Let's talk about, because you and Mom met before college. You. For those that don't know, my parents are both from York, Pennsylvania, and y'all went to high school together and even middle school, right?
Well, no, we didn't go to middle school together. I met your mom. We were in grade school, actually.
Wow.
We were like 7 or 8 in grade school. But she became my girlfriend when I was a junior at York High.
Junior.
Yeah, junior at York High. So I was my high school sweetheart.
Shout out to the Bearcats.
Yeah. So y'all met. I mean, y'all didn't meet. Y'all became a thing your junior year,
Yes.
and then you went to the prom together. I'm assuming.
Yes.
I heard that Mom was feisty when she was a kid.
Oh, yeah, she was. Any girl looked at me or talked to me was in trouble because she didn't play.
Yo, I've heard
did
so
not
many
play.
stories about Mom, and it'd be so crazy because I'd be like, when I was a kid, I remember being like, nah, ain't no way. But then the older I got, and me and Mom talking, and I'm like, oh, Mom was really about that life.
She did not play. She was her and a bunch of her high school bully girls. I mean, they were just bullies. One girl I was seeing had a Volkswagen. He tried to turn the Volkswagen over.
Girls.
Wasn't it at a football game?
Girls.
At a football game.
They trying to flip it on. They was rocking the car until they flipped it on. What was that, a York High game, right?
Had the poor girl scared and crying. But yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
they were something.
They said Mom used to carry a blade and everything back then.
Hey.
But you wasn't really like that, right? So
No, I was laid back.
So like opposites really do attract.
Yeah, because we had a business class together, and that's when we were juniors, and she wasn't even my girlfriend yet, and she was up and up. She was coding class, so I had my big varsity full, my big York High Y on it. I said, "Are you code?" And yeah, and I gave her my sweater to wear, and we weren't even. I mean, she wasn't my girlfriend, but I knew her.
And you wanted her. That's a classic. Yeah. I'm gonna give you this jacket because you know.
No, because she was cold. Because she liked the older guys at first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was in her class. She liked older guys, but yeah.
And both of y'all had like y'all. I know you weren't raised there, but y'all were at some point. Y'all were in separate projects in York City.
She lived in the Cadore Street projects, and I lived in the Parkway projects. Yep.
And everybody from York know P-Way and what's the other one? I didn't. What's
They ain't there no more, are they?
Cadore's projects. Right
they ain't
here.
there no more.
Yeah, right where the Penn Street Bridge is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right around, of course, from just the place where your mom and them lived.
I
at.
know
Yeah.
where that's is that still called that?
Yeah, Cadore's project.
I don't
well, I
know
don't know.
nobody in
Maybe
York
maybe
talking about that.
maybe it's not Cadore's anymore, but it might be Martin Luther King projects now, something like that. But it was Cadore's projects there, and we lived out at Parkway projects.
So you and Mom was cutting up. You had Mom flipping girls' cars.
I didn't have her doing that. her and her girls that she hung around with did that.
And then so y'all graduated, and then y'all went. Then you went to college.
She went to business school.
In
She went
York.
to Thompson Business School in York. Thompson Business School, and I went to Millersville.
So y'all were a half hour away, and Mom had a car back then,
No, she didn't even drive then. No,
and you didn't have a car neither.
no, not the first year. No.
So how'd that first year go for your relationship?
There was no cell phones or nothing back then.
Yeah, which was good. I mean, but we were fine. But I would go home every weekend, something like that. It all depend what something was going on in Millersville. I stay up there, or she would come up there
Wait,
by
you
the
used
bus or whatever.
You used to tell me to stop coming home so much, and you were going home every other weekend.
Hey man, I live 30 minutes away.
Ain't it so crazy? Yo,
And plus, Millersville was like a weekend college. There wasn't that happening in Millersville in the weekends.
Nah, you was telling me Stop coming home, boy.
Yeah, well, that's different.
Yo, it's crazy. The older we get, Dad and Mom was telling us to not do a lot of stuff that they was doing. We're just being like, yo.
Because we knew. We had been through it and we knew what was going on, so we didn't want our kids to be doing that.
Do you ever think let me say this. Because I know that I was a problem child. I was a problem child I was a problem adult for a little bit. Was there ever a time where you was just like, this boy he's lost, he's over, it's over for him? Because I definitely felt like there was a time when me and you specifically, because I know like now that I'm older and I see like I was really doing dumb stuff. Mm-hmm. Mom supported me through a lot of my dumb stuff. Yeah. And you was just telling me to get right, and we wasn't clicking at that time because I wasn't mature enough to know that I always thought I was right at that time. Mm-hmm. And you was basically like, but get it together. Mm-hmm. Was there ever a time where you was just like, I'm over it. Like, I'm over this kid?
No, because I always knew with the background we had given you that you'd eventually be all right. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew eventually you'd get it straight.
I was trying.
Yeah.
And I think, like, even at my worst, I think, like, because of my upbringing, it was, like, I always knew how far to go without going. Like, even when I was, I dabbled in the streets a little bit. But, like when my friends started going to jail, I was like, nah, this ain't it. Like, I'm not supposed to do this. Mm-hmm. And I always thought, like, I can't embarrass my parents because of how y'all raising me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, even when, at my worst, I always looked at you like, I got to at least end up where he's at. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, when you have a dad that provides, because we started in the city. And then it got a little crazy in the city. We're going to talk about that too. It got a little crazy in the city, and you were able to move us out of the city. And I always thought, like, I at least got to get there. I have to at least be able to, if I can't have my family in the projects when it gets crazy. Because when it got crazy in the city, because we grew up on Hillside, it wasn't the projects, but Lancaster small, it was a city. Mm-hmm. People were getting killed in our neighborhood. Yeah. And around that time when people started getting killed, you was like, nah, we got to move.
It's time to get out.
And
it's time to get out.
Is that why? Because I remember, like, the crossing guard, Miss Nair got killed. You was a baby. Miss Nair got killed. Not killed. She got shot.
She got shot.
And then Wee
Sean Wright, Wee
got killed
around the corner.
Right around, like, up on our corner.
And that was one of my former students.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, it's time to move out of here.
And I remember you taking me to school at Wheatland. I think when Wee got killed, I don't want to say it wrong, maybe 8th or 9th grade. And we were going to school. You would take me and Aunt, which is another one, rest in peace, me, Aunt, and Ray to school, and we drove past that where he got killed. And back then they would put the chalk lines on the street still. Mm-hmm. And there was a chalk line of his body while I'm 12, 13 years old looking at this chalk line. And I remember it now, but back then it just seemed like a movie. I mean, but I remember the very next year, Dad being like, "We out," and at the time, I was just like, I didn't understand it. Why are we going to prison now? Yeah. Like I was so upset because I'm leaving all my friends in the city. But now that I'm grown, I'm like, yo, it was getting crazy, and Dad was like, "Nah, we can't live here no more."
Yeah, he got shot right around the corner, right there. UGI is around there. Just, nope.
Did you feel pressure to get us out of there? Like,
it was time to get out of here. Yeah, get my family out of here. Yeah.
It was too much going on, Brad. I know you couldn't have been but 7, 8 years old at the time.
Yeah.
So
I remember when it happened. I
yeah.
didn't know nobody.
And I remember even like the killings that followed that murder. The people that did it lived right there on New Durwood. So we was walking past them every day. It was crazy. Like I look back, and this is at the time when Menace to Society came out in New Jack City. Like I think every hood in the country was trying to live that. Like it just got it got crazy.
Yeah, time to really change. And that's the time to get out of here. Yep.
It was wild. It was wild.
Yep. Hillside started out like that was a nice area.
Oh, it was. That's a brand new house when I bought on Hillside. So yeah, it was nice there, and right in the corner from where I worked.
Yeah.
So it was great.
People still ask me to this day why I didn't go to Price. My dad didn't let me.
That's why you see, you wouldn't have had any fun. That's what the whole deal was. You wouldn't have had any fun if your dad teach the same school you're at. You'd have had fun because I taught there, and then people would still call me and let me know what you do.
Yeah, it was. I was listen. I and Brand lived a totally different. We're gonna get into this part too. Brand lived a totally different life than I lived. Like I didn't get to go to Price because you worked there, but Price was literally 5-minute walk from the house.
Yeah,
which made no sense. So I had to walk home from Hamilton because my parents worked first shift. So Hamilton was far. I had an hour walk home every day.
it wasn't an hour.
It wasn't an hour. It felt like an hour. It definitely felt like an hour. It could have been 5 minutes. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. But people always ask me. They even with you and Brand, they ask me all the time. I know your brother. I know your father. They're this, and that. I love them. Blah 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 blah. You're nothing like them. I'll be like, I don't know if that's a diss. I'm like, yo, you're nothing like. I think like, I don't know. I don't even have an answer for them. They be like, why? And this is recent, especially with like, I know your brother. You're nothing. Y'all act nothing alike. You look alike, but you don't act nothing alike. And I'm like, I don't know. But then the history of our upbringing, I grew up on Hillside. Mm-hmm. Brand grew up on President Ave. Like when we moved, I was almost out the house.
No, you weren't.
I was in McCaskey. Yeah, I was in high school already.
I was 6th grade when we moved. I think when I finished middle school, you finished high school.
Yeah.
You were probably there for like a year.
I was when it was the summer going to 11th grade. So I was in President Ave before I started exploring the world. I was there for 2 years. Gotcha. So I think that's why the upbringing, like, because we came up in the same house with the same, and let me be real clear, and Dad might disagree with this. They was way softer with you. Let me be clear. Yeah, I moved to Florida at 19, I think. After, I dropped out of college. The Air Force thing didn't work. And I moved to Florida at 19. And my brother was still in school. I come back, and he's in high school and got tattoos. I had to beg for tattoos as an adult.
Times changed, though.
See, here we go.
Yeah, it was times changing. It was like, it's more acceptable now in life.
Was it?
At that time?
I think it was Tupac. I came up with Tupac era. I thought like
it was easier back when he came up. We already experienced you.
Well, he's not as bad as Pooh. Let him go.
Well, no, I grew up watching you.
We mellowed out a little bit.
I was like, I can't do that because he got in trouble for that. He's not gonna do that one. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna do that one either. Yeah, they got mad about that one. So I'm still back. You learn, you watch.
That's exactly right. Comes with experience.
I think people don't realize, like, when they say that, because they even say that about you. They're like, your dad is so this, and that, and your brother is this, and that, but you're, and I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, and the crazy thing is, I'm really not. I think, like with the profession that I'm in, they see that guy on camera. They don't realize I'm not that bad. I'm like, but me and Brand are a little different.
You're different, yeah.
But I didn't let Brand, like, Brand was young trying to run with us. And I was like, nah, Brand hated me until he was like 13. Like,
never let me hang out with him.
I would not let him come with us. And it was for a reason. One, because I thought I would get in trouble and he's going to tell y'all. But the other thing was there was a 5-year gap. In 5 years when you're a kid, that's a big gap.
That's a big difference.
Like, it's not big when we're adults, but when I'm 15 and you're 10, you can't do the things that I'm doing. Like,
nah, he's always said no. Never let me do anything.
Nope.
Me and Pooh liked each other until like we were grown.
Yeah.
There was a lot of animosity there.
Too many years between you.
But I definitely like I took you places, but I didn't let you do. Like you didn't like when I would bring you in by dark. Like I remember the summer times on Hillside. Like I said, you was young. I don't know if you remember, but you was like, Brand was like 7, 8, 9 years old. I was outside and I was like, when we was going out and like some of my friends was sneaking thermoses of alcohol out. I was like, nah, Brand can't come in. He gonna tell. Like,
can't take your little brother there. No.
But
he used to do everything. He used to throw me out the basement when they were down there in the basement hanging out. This guy's tripping, man.
Yo, I remember even like when we was on President Avenue and you would be upstairs with your friends playing video games and I would come home with a girl or whatever. Y'all would have to get out my room.
For no reason. First of all, the game shouldn't even been in his room. I didn't know why the video game was in his room. Now I look back on it.
Well, that's between you and him. I had nothing to do with that part of it.
Our night's over. We gotta go to bed now because he's home. This guy, man.
I know. Just don't be in the basement.
And then y'all wonder why we didn't get along till we were grown. See?
It was a while. There was a lot of animosity there. But I want to explain that this is the explanation to why me and my brother are completely like. People be like, y'all look so much alike, but you're completely different. And we're not. Let me be clear. Me and my brother ain't that much different. We're that much different to y'all. Because I'm going to say what I want in front of anybody. And my brother has a career. so he's not going to do that. And my dad had a career, so he didn't do that. I never cared about a career. I was always that person. I think that's why, like, and I think that's Mom, too. Like, Mom was that person.
Yeah, she was that person. Yep.
And I think I took a lot of that from Mom.
From
like
her and the Stokeses.
Like if I feel something at that moment, that's what I'm gonna say. Y'all have a filter where y'all are gonna chill for a little bit.
Lay back and think about it. Lay back and think about it. What you gonna say?
I really be like, blah blah blah. Let me tell you though, the brunch that we was at the other day. I held it together for y'all. I want to be clear. We had the worst. I'm not even gonna put them out there, but we had the worst service, and it was terrible. And because I was with my brother and my dad, I didn't show out that day because I should have showed out. And I think if I would have showed out that day, y'all wouldn't even have been mad.
No, no, not that day. But yeah, let him go. Let him go.
My daughter let him know.
Yeah. Shout out to Bree, yo.
Yeah. Oh, she gonna be rough too. She don't play. She'll let you know.
So you got with Mom in high school. Did you know, like, how far into a relationship do you know that she's different? This is the one.
Well, she was really the only serious girlfriend I had since, I mean, man,
see, look how that played. That's Mom, right?
It's a rookie move, man.
She was the only girlfriend you had up until.
Only really serious girlfriend I had. I had other good girls around, but yeah.
So you was outside. Look, both of y'all. So you was outside, basically. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, and one of my friends started going with her best friend Rose, and he said, "Well, I'm gonna hook you up with her friend Joanne." But I knew your mom, so I said, "She likes older guys."
Oh, she had a reputation for like an older guy.
Yeah, she liked older guys. She had been to the prom with older guys. She had been to the prom, and she went to McCaskey's prom.
You went to McCaskey's prom?
She went to McCaskey's prom when she was a.
You gotta tell him how to mute his phone, man.
Yeah, man.
Put it on silent, man.
I don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it on the iPhone.
That's an iPhone. Give me that phone.
I don't know
So,
how to work on my iPhone.
what was we saying? Oh, yeah, so
She went to the McCaskey prom when she was a
York High prom.
sophomore.
McCaskey or York High?
She went to the York High prom when she was a sophomore.
Oh, she went to McCaskey prom too?
and York High prom. So she
In
like
high school?
Yeah, she liked older guys. Yeah, she went with up here.
McCaskey wasn't even McCaskey back then, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Was it called Lancaster?
It was called J.B. McCaskey.
Ain't
Like
that old.
it was J.B.
Trying to say down, man.
It was J.B. McCaskey
That's disrespectful.
because she went to prom up here with Al Brown as a 10th grader. She went to prom in York with Tony Champ Sexton, who was a sophomore.
Whoa, man, you can't be just putting out names like that.
Why? You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying.
But my mom was a very pretty girl though. Like even
Yeah.
there's she's always been a pretty girl.
Yeah.
So I would have thought that I would probably know that in high school you weren't probably the only one after her.
Right.
So how'd you pull her? How'd you pull mom?
I don't know this song. I don't know if I want to know the answer. I might not know it.
I want to know.
Like I said, through one of my best friends, he was going with her best friend, and he got me a date with her.
But after the date, how'd you keep her? Like, cause what was special about you? Is what I'm saying.
Apparently, she liked me.
You were a jock, though. You were a popular jock,
I was an athlete, and I was quiet.
and she was the opposite.
Yeah, I didn't really like her.
That's kind of how it works
I
out.
knew she liked older guys. So I really didn't. I figured I had a chance. I didn't have a chance with her.
So she was probably thinking like, everybody else was probably on her, and you were probably like laid back, like,
Yep.
Nah, I don't really want to do that.
Yep.
Well, opposite attract, yeah.
Then y'all got together. Y'all finished high school. Y'all went to the prom together.
Yep.
You went off to college. She went to business school. And then what? Because you graduated from college in 77?
73.
Ooh. Y'all waited a long time to have me after that.
Yeah, we were both 29 when we had the first baby. That's what.
Obama.
Well, we'll go from there. But when I was in Millersville, I student taught here in York at a Ferguson Elementary, and I lived with her she had a 1-bedroom apartment. I lived with her on College Avenue, right down there from the high school, right before you get to the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a 1-bedroom apartment on the left hand side. She had a 1-bedroom apartment, and I lived with her.
So she was holding you down
She
while
was
you were
working. She was working, and I was student teaching.
Did you ever feel like that was the moment? I know what it was. When she was taking care of you, you was like, you know what?
Well,
she different.
She wasn't taking care of me. She had the apartment. I was her boyfriend. I lived there with her.
Yeah. What was the secret you think for you and mom? Because most people, especially nowadays, where everything's like we're in a microwave society, everybody's like they want their stuff right now, and relationships is like if you put me through this, I'm done with you. What's the secret? I always ask anybody. I mean, y'all are my parents. I don't know if I ever asked y'all, but I've asked old heads. Not calling you an old head, Dad.
Oh no, I just had a birthday Saturday. No.
But what's the secret? Like y'all was married for
46 years.
46 years, and I'm 42. So first off, let's clap it up for that.
Yeah.
That's dope. What's the so y'all was married for 46, together for at least 50, right?
We were together for 5 years before that. We were engaged 5 years before we got married.
So that's 51 years right there.
Years, yeah.
Your oldest son is only 42.
Yep.
Let's be real clear. So how'd y'all keep it? And I know it wasn't perfect. I know the relationships ain't perfect as an adult. Right. I know my relationship ain't perfect. I'm sure Brand or whoever else. But how did you make it? How do you keep continuing to just be better and stay together?
Well, we had our ups and downs. It wasn't easy. I mean, we had a lot of rough times, but we just hung in there, plugged it up, and stayed together. I mean, it wasn't. A lot of times it wasn't easy. You have your trials and tribulations, but we just hung in there.
And I know it wasn't easy. Because I'm your kid.
Yeah.
But I also know that y'all keeping it together, regardless of what you went through. I see that has affected me and Brand because we're both in marriages and we're both trying to make our marriages work, and I think that comes from the stock that we came from. It was just like marriage was always in the plans for me. I don't think it's always in the plans for everybody, but I saw y'all and it was like that was my goal. I think Brand, you feel the same way?
Yeah, thought it was normal. Like people don't normally see marriage as normal. A lot of friends I grew up with, like, you know what I mean?
Nah, I don't even have like my friend. I'm not talking about my cousins because a lot of our cousins, our family comes from marriage stocks. Yeah. But like my friends, most of my friends' parents weren't married. That was just real. And even the ones that lived together weren't. I thought for years a couple of my friends' parents weren't married because they lived together, but they weren't.
I only have 2 or 3 friends that are married myself now, 37, 38.
But I also realized because a lot of people a lot of people look at marriage like I'm not going to let this person play me. I'm not going to let this person do this and that. But because of me coming from a house where my parents were always married in my lifetime, it made me see the benefits from marriage. Like there's so much. It's not just about a relationship. It's about building a foundation and creating something stable for your kids. And it's just different. Like when you're married, I didn't realize how, like a lot of my friends idolized me as a kid. They called us the Cosbys. I didn't know, like that was their secret running joke. We was the Huxtables to them. And I'm looking like.
People made fun of it. People made fun of us for that. Like, people made fun of us.
Yeah, I definitely got clown for that.
Yeah, for like, hey, y'all come from, y'all rich family. Well, my dad's only a teacher.
Yeah,
I was in business. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
we welcomed all your friends into our house. That's the way it was. That's the way it was. That's why, especially your mom. She would welcome everybody in there. And I mean, when I came home some nights, I didn't know who was upstairs.
Listen, I remember
people up there.
You talk about upstairs on President. I'm talking about Hillside. I remember the blizzard of '93 on Hillside when the whole blizzard. We was off school for a month that year, and everybody would walk through all the snow to get to our crib and come to the basement. And Mom would buy us pizzas or whatever. And it would be like 15. Mind you, we downstairs playing Truth or Dare, spin the bottle.
Mom feeding everybody.
She was feeding everybody.
Yep, that's where she was. But we came from families like my mom and dad stayed married through all her problems.
Right.
Her mom and dad stayed married through all their problems. That's what we knew. That's what we knew. So we wanted to make it work, no matter what. We had our hard times. You guys know.
Yeah.
But that was my girl, man. Come on.
It just gave us, like, looking back at it as an adult, it just gave us so much more stability than my friends had. I know I don't know what your friend, like, a lot of my friends was coming from one-parent homes or seeing their parents fight all the time. Like, when I was younger, I remember y'all went through y'all stuff, but y'all got it together, though. Like, y'all got it together, and y'all did it. I felt like y'all did it for us. Like it was like, nah, we're going to keep this family together, and we're not going to mess this up. And, you know, as a kid, you don't know what's going on. But the older you get, especially when you start understanding what relationships are, it's a different kind of respect I have for you and Mom for even holding it together.
Yeah, I didn't want anyone else raised with my kids.
Yeah.
that was my bottom line. No.
And even the stuff Mom did when she was here, like when we was kids, most women ain't like that now.
No.
Like, I remember Mom, she cooked every day for us. She ironed our clothes. She washed our clothes. She did.
Come on, man. That's why people think we're spoiled now.
But she
that's
did.
Why, that's on your wives.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they call us spoiled.
But that's what she did.
But she did all of that, and she worked a full-time job too,
and then part-time job after that,
and then worked part-time jobs. Like, and as a kid, you just like, oh, Mom, that's normal. And you get older, you like, yo, how did she keep it together?
Yep, she did a lot.
Like, Mom was a superwoman, like for real, and I think she came from that, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was because it was just like normal to her. I never heard mom complain about doing any of that. She never complained. She never even, for me, I don't know, like, you know better than me, but for me, she never complained. She never looked tired. She was like the glue coming in our household. She was the glue.
She was, no doubt about it. 'Cause she did everything and didn't complain.
And you see these women nowadays, they don't want to cook, they don't want to clean. I'm looking at you like, you ain't my mama. Nah, but luckily I found someone that first off, I don't even think I would have ever gotten married if you wasn't doing what my mom was doing. Like, I think that says a lot to what she was. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
Like, you cannot be less than she was, or you're not enough for me.
Right.
Period. Is that how you felt?
I mean, you said it a little crazy. Like, you might offend some people.
No, I don't care. If you're not my mom. Nah, and I'm saying that for me. Like this is how we was raised. If my mom was Superwoman. If your mom wasn't, you can settle for less. And that's the other thing. Like, she didn't just do it for Dad.
Yeah.
She did it for us.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still a little tight that every Thursday he had steak and we didn't.
That's because you hadn't earned the steak. Keep telling you didn't earn steak.
Let me tell y'all, every Thursday at our house we was coming up with steak night. Me and my brother never tasted steak till we was adults.
You weren't no adults. Because she changed it on you. She changed it on
Mom
you.
might have slid us one piece of his steak.
Yeah, a couple little slides.
bone.
We
She might
never
give
got
the
a
bone.
whole steak.
Nah, yeah, she definitely gave me a bone a couple times.
And let me tell you, it wasn't because they was hurt. My dad was, they wasn't hurting like that. We got hot dogs and burgers on steak night. And this is how real it is. Ask his friends because they thought it was trash.
They laugh at us.
Kids didn't need no steaks. They didn't know what steaks were.
It was so crazy.
Hot dogs, hamburgers were fine for you guys.
Once I finally tasted steak, I was like, why'd you do this to us?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't even know if it tastes good or we just idolize it so much because we never could have it.
I
Then
eat
we just
steak like
imagine
twice a
that
week
it's
now.
good.
Hey, look. When I was growing up with 6 kids, I didn't know what steak was. so don't tell me that. There were 6 of us, and I never saw no steak.
Yeah, y'all ate the squirrel that you caught in the backyard sometimes.
Squirrel, groundhog, whatever.
Yeah, see, that's,
See, y'all was poor. Like, po. It wasn't, y'all didn't have the extra OR. Y'all was po.
Yeah, but we didn't really notice that.
Because when y'all moved out the projects, y'all moved into a house, and it was 2 bedrooms, right?
It was 2 bedrooms, but then at that time,
And it was 6 kids.
Not at that time. It wasn't no 6 kids. At that time, it was only 2, maybe 3 kids. Yeah.
When y'all moved to Wheatfield.
We moved out there. It was only 3 of us.
So it was
Me,
three kids
Carrie, and
birthed at
Larry.
that time.
Yeah. But then 3 more came.
And y'all was 5 in 1 bedroom.
he wanted to tell us that I'm never coming back.
Yes. And I was the oldest and the babysitter.
And them rooms weren't big. Let me be
No,
clear.
they
Like,
you ain't saw me there.
yeah, we grew up. We was raised in that house too.
Yeah, they weren't big.
And mind you, he's like the smallest brother too, so they were all tall.
That's why it'd be so funny to me when they talk
It was
about
big
like
in the
we was the Huxtables. I'd be like, we was never rich.
Yeah,
We
but
was
you had-
better than y'all.
You had your own room. We both had your own rooms. Get out of here. I never knew what it was to have my own room.
People try to make us feel bad for having 2 parents at home.
Yeah.
Like, yo, y'all tripping.
Yeah, man, you guys had it made.
Yeah.
So
Probably offend somebody else, man.
So more on mom. Mom had her first stroke in 2000.
2000, yep.
And I think this was the first one because I remember, this was the first one. I think this was like after one of my Florida stints, and I came back and I was staying with y'all, and y'all was out at a dinner or something.
We were going to a dinner in Philadelphia. Which she belonged to the BHT Travelers, and we went to a jazz. We were going to a jazz a program in Philadelphia. And when we got there and we were at the meal, she just kept nodding out. She wouldn't eat. She just couldn't stay awake. And I didn't know what was wrong with her. And then eventually Adrian said, I think she's having a stroke. So then I said to her, Ann, you want to go to the hospital here? No. She wouldn't go to the hospital in Philadelphia. So we brought her the whole way back to Lancaster and took her home. And then I said, I'm taking you to the hospital. So that's when I took her over to St. Joe's Hospital, where both you guys are born at the regional. And they said she had a stroke. But that one was the first one. That was a pretty mild one.
The first one was, it seemed like, and we'll get to that, because Mom had 3 strokes, right?
At least. Maybe mini strokes in between there.
And I remember the first one was, I had just come back from Florida, and I was staying with y'all. And you came in and woke me up in the middle of the night and told me that your mom had a stroke. And I remember just getting terrified because all I remembered was both Pop-Pops had strokes. One took your dad instantly. Not instantly, but it took the one stroke.
9 days,
killed him.
9 or 10 days.
Yeah. And then her dad had 2, I think, before.
He suffered for a while, yeah, because he had a leg amputated and everything. Both legs amputated, I think.
And that's all I knew at that time. So all I knew was both Pop-Pops had strokes, and that's what killed them. And Mom, she made it through that first one, and I mean she made it through all of them, but she made it through that first one, and was still almost regular.
Yeah.
So I just remember thinking like, yo, Mom's a beast. Like in my head, I was like, yo, she did what the family. I mean, like I just really. And then it was another one. How many years later was the second one? I don't even know if we have the years.
I know the last one that made her the worst was 2000. Well, I think the second one was 2008, because I think 2011 was when she couldn't walk or anything anymore.
I remember the first one, and this is how I saw this whole. This is how I processed this whole thing. Like the first one was like, okay, Mom had a stroke. We gotta watch her more now. Like we gotta pay more attention to her, but she's still good. The second one, I don't remember when it happened, but for me it was like she got a little more cranky. And like things just weren't 100% in her head at that time.
That's because she didn't follow doctor's orders, pretty much.
Well, she was definitely her father's child.
She still thought she was stubborn. She thought she could do what she could do before she had the strokes.
Yeah,
she wouldn't listen. So,
and I remember that too. I remember even you would leave and she'd be like, "Give me that," or that's something sweet or whatever, you know. And
hard-headed, yeah, she's hard-headed.
But I remember even like during that time after the second stroke, me taking her to like her nurses and stuff. But she was still moving around and she was still Mom. You know what I mean? Like we were still having them conversations. Because I spent a lot of time confiding in Mom. At one point, she was the only person that I vented to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And after the second one, I could still do that. But then we started having arguments after that. So, like, and me and Mom never really had arguments. Like, she was always the one that was on my side.
Yeah.
But the second one made, and I don't know what strokes do to you, but I know the second one made her different. It made her like, and is that what you? Because you was living with her every day. Like I was just coming, but when I saw her, it was like she was irritable all the time.
Irritable, mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really changed.
The second one was, I remember she came back from walking Trace to the park.
Yeah. Then she had it up in, and she, because did you come to the house? Or did you meet us at the hospital?
I was at the house, I think. I was at the house, and then you came in like, something wrong with Mom.
she walked Trace to the park, and she walked back.
Yeah, in the heat.
In the heat. It
In
was
the
it was
heat.
a summer.
In the heat.
She walked Trace to the park. Yep, that's exactly what happened. She came back, and when she came back, it was just me there. And I remember it was like a little breezy out, and I was like, why didn't you have Trace's coat on? Because he was a baby, and I was like, why didn't you have his coat on? And when she talked back to me, like her speech was slurred.
Yeah.
And I think I called you,
Yeah.
and I hit you up, and I was like, yo, something's wrong with mom, and you pulled up real quick, and we went to the hospital, and Dad, you think he was at work? He was at the rec or something.
Okay.
And then we called you, and you came through. But yeah, that's the one that like changed her mentality, I think. And then the third one was when it took most of everything.
She was working at that academy out of Park City, that food where the food court is and all that stuff. And then that weekend she went to York, the party and all that, was seeing all them.
Yeah.
And I sent her medicine and everything down there with her, and she didn't take her medicine. So then she comes back up here and she goes to work that Monday. And for some reason they called me. They said something's wrong. She's not acting like herself. She's saying she did things but she didn't do them, and she didn't do this and she did that. So I had to go get her. So went and got her and brought her home, and she was okay that night. But then the next day she was really out of it. She couldn't even walk. She couldn't even get out of bed and walk. So I had to call the ambulance to come and get her.
And the third one is what kind of debilitated her.
Yeah, she couldn't
Like
walk anymore.
she wasn't right after. And now, mind you, in these 3 strokes, she's been diagnosed with sarcoidosis.
Sarcoidosis, yep.
She had two heart attacks. A heart attack.
One mild heart attack.
She had a heart attack, and she actually flatlined in the hospital that day.
Yeah.
That was at the old regional.
Yeah.
Because I remember you called me and Brand,
Yeah.
and by the time I got to the hospital, like you had saw her flatline, they brought her back and everything. And even that was a long time ago. Like Mom went through all of that and still lived a long time after that.
I told her she had 9 lives. More than that, because she everybody else would have been dead.
One thing, do you think, because I think after that third one, and maybe this was just me like in my selfish bag because I was always able to talk to Mom. She was always the one I confided in. And after that third one, I felt like I couldn't communicate with her
Anymore.
Yeah, it was just different.
She was just out of it. You could. Yeah, she was just out of it. She'd call Brandon, Bo, or who else? Somebody else she would call you.
Rome
or Jerry or somebody. Yeah, she was out of it. And then just being there with her all the time. I mean, she would snap. She would go out sometime where she'd just be just laying there, and I could always snap her out of it. But that last night when she did that, I couldn't snap her out of it. Yep, I couldn't get her out. I couldn't get her to come back. So I knew it was over.
I remember, like, just speaking to her at those times, and I remember, like, we talking about this now. We never spoke about this off camera, but I'm gonna say this now. I stopped coming as often.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I left your house in the car ride home, I was crying like a baby. Like I would break down and cry, and it just took so much out of me to see Mom like that, because I was coming over and I was trying to speak to her, and it wouldn't be like it was. I felt good that she was seeing me. She would smile. She would light up when I was there, but I would break down every time I left the house. Every single time, like
it wasn't the same. Yeah. And
you can ask my friends, like everybody, they knew when I left your house, it was like I would just cry like a baby because I knew then like my mom ain't coming back.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
and
no, she wasn't getting any better.
and that third stroke was years before she passed.
Yeah.
Like
Third one was 2008.
8. So you talking about like, because there was a time where we were even deciding like, what are we gonna do with mom? Like, because we didn't know if we could take care of her, but it was just like that would hurt me. Like every time I would leave the crib, just seeing her like that. So just saying that, like that leads me to that's 2008. She passed in 2021. That's what, 14 years?
Darn near.
14 years she was like that. And we know mom. Mom was outside. She liked to travel. She was the life of the party. And her smile lit up every single room she stepped in.
Yep.
I don't think I mourn mom every day. It hurts me that she's gone, but part of me was like, nah, she was ready to go. Do y'all ever feel like that? Like,
actually, I was kind of relieved when she left because that wasn't her.
It wasn't her.
I was there with her every day.
She was, and I know like
it wasn't her.
For you, and that's the thing. Like that's what made me feel selfish is because I would come and break down after I left and be like, "Yo, I can't do this for a little while." But you was there every single day.
Every day.
And you saw her as basically a show of herself. We didn't bring that to the public. Like if you wasn't family, you didn't know that.
Nope.
But we knew, and it just like when she passed, I was hurt, but I was still like, nah, like she's
relieved.
better now.
Yeah, she was the best. I said she's in a better place. I was relieved.
And the people say that all the time, like, oh, they're in a better place. And sometimes, like, if they die fully healthy, you're like, nah, no. I really believe mom is in a better place. Like, I really believe she's happier now. Because the mom I know, that the reason I like to travel so much is because of mom. Like the mouth I got, the outgoing stuff that y'all compare me to them, and you're not like, I'm like my mom. That's what I'm like.
Yep.
Like, and that's just what it is. Like, but yeah, like when she passed, I think I told y'all this. Like I started mourning her after that third stroke, when I couldn't sit down and have those conversations with
Couldn't
her.
talk to her.
Yeah.
Couldn't talk to her.
I was heartbroken. I would come see her and tell her I love her, give her 1,000 kisses. But when I left, I was hurt. Like it was taking a lot out of me. You know what I mean? So, and I remember even that night, I got the call from Brent. No, who called me? You called me, right? And I was in a daze for a while, but I remember when we was on the ride to Lancaster, I just remember like thinking like, she don't gotta hurt no more. Like, and in my head, I'm like, I'm just gonna, now I can really have conversations with her through the spirit world. You know what I mean? Like, because I was just so, I know you can, like, I know y'all know, like I was just so lost, and that's how I felt. Like I couldn't talk to my mom no more. In 2008, I didn't even realize it was that long ago. Like, but that's the last time I could really come to her for advice. Like, and yeah, like I know it hurts that she's not here physically no more, but it also makes me happy that I know that she's not like that no more.
Not laying her in that bed, just laying there, just staring or whatever.
Even when we would all be there, it'd be family, it'd be mad family there. We'd be talking and having conversations. She would just kind of be sitting there.
Yep.
That wasn't mom. Like that wasn't our mom.
Nope.
Like she was definitely the life of the party, and she's definitely missed. Everybody wants to know how we've been holding up this past year. It'll be a year next month that she's been gone. I know I've been speaking about, I'm a little more outspoken about my feelings than both of y'all. Y'all hide your feelings well. I'm just like,
No, I mean, it's lonely and it hurts. I mean, I wouldn't wish the pain on anyone. I mean, it hurts. It hurts. Like I said, I know she's in a better place, but it just hurts. It just hurts because we were together so long.
That's all you ever knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
50 some years. Like you was with mom longer than me and Brand been alive.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it don't get the pain don't go away.
No.
Like it's just you're a different person. Like
Different.
you know what I mean? You're not ever gonna be back to the way you were. Or I'm trying to deal with that. Like it's just so hard to just not think about it or function in the way you are. Like it's just hard. Like it's just you're just different. You're not gonna be the same person. I'm trying to just deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I will ever be the same again. I did this, and this is the first time I'm speaking about this publicly. This past weekend was Mother's Day, and we're on social media. We jump on social media. I was actually getting mad when I saw everybody else posting with their mom and posting about their mom. Like I got mad, and I was really. It felt like they were bragging to me. Like they not that they are. None of them were. They're just bigging up their mom like they were supposed to do. But to me, it felt like y'all are bragging because you still have your mom.
Yep.
And I had to talk myself out of this place. Like I had to talk myself out of like, yo, they're not bragging. Like this is what they're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. But to me, it was like, nah, my mom ain't here. Like y'all showing off. Like that's how my head processed it. Like, and I got off social media and I chilled with y'all the rest of the day. We had terrible service, but but it felt better just chilling with y'all. Like
I think that's the one thing that it did too. Like it made us closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all speak more.
Yep.
And you know what I mean, it's just tough. Like you were watching, like you were getting mad. I wasn't getting mad, but I was just like, I don't know. Like I'm looking at them like, yo, y'all like cherish that. You know what I mean? Like that's dope. Like y'all still like cherish that because.
I'm glad you was at least there because I was tight. I was really taking every single post. Oh, I love my mom. She been blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, for real? Like I was upset, and they had no idea, and it's not nobody's fault. But it was just like, yo, mom ain't here no more. Like
it's the first one, so it's definitely hard. It's the hardest one.
I try to look to like people that have lost their parents, and it's just not. That had them for a while, not like lost them early or nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. And it comes to a point where you're like I didn't want to, like sometimes I don't want to post too much because I'm like, I don't want, you know what I mean? I got all kind of funny feelings about it, but I always feel like, especially now, like I feel like I always, until I am not here no more, I'm always gonna have to put big her name up. And I don't care what nobody else thinks. Like I just don't. Like, but yeah, I was feeling away.
A lot of times I don't like social media now because people they'll be putting pictures of her up, memories of her up, and I'm saying, oh man, like I saw one of her and Dory up today. That's oh man.
The memories is different.
Yeah,
right?
I hate it, man. I don't like social media because of that.
Like I remember, like I had a lot of deaths that was close to me, but like in 2013 we lost Reese, which is my cousin for those who don't know, and he was the closest person to me at that time, and we fell out before he passed, but then we squashed it like right because we met at the we had the reunion that weekend, and that hurt me, and I felt like nothing's gonna affect me more than this, and blah blah blah, and then mom passed, and I was like, it was different. It was just different. But what I do know is mom wouldn't want us here moping. That's what she definitely would not want because she was not that person. Yeah, and I don't want to keep y'all. We're not gonna sit here and be crying enough. So we're not doing that.
Good.
I thank you for coming. I hope this was painless. I got my dad on the show, y'all. Got my
Right.
pops. Yo, this is Brandon Way. This is William Way, and I am William Way. And this is On Site, y'all. I'll see y'all next week.